Welcome, everybody, back to another special edition of the Pennsylvania High School Football Report. I'm Brian Linder. No co host today. Well, a special guest, though. Got Alex Erby, Steel High quarterback, senior. We've done a lot of talk. Alex, I think you have now set another record, my man, which I think you're the person we've had on the podcast the most. I think this is the third time you've been on the podcast.
Yep, this is the third time.
Right? See, you're setting records all over the place.
That's
So,
crazy, yeah.
it was kind of a light week. So we had Alex on. Not a lot going on this week, right, Alex? Not much.
Try not to think about it.
How so? Statewide news this week.
Yeah,
Alex Erby is 138 yards away from breaking Pennsylvania's all-time state passing yardage record, set by Brett Brumbaugh, who used to play for South Fayette. They play Camp Hill Friday night at 7:00, and you're 11 touchdowns away from breaking Jeff Hohenstein's passing touchdown record. So that probably won't happen against Camp Hill, but in the next couple of weeks, you got that one coming too, man. This has been a special week for you. I know you and I've already talked about it a good deal. We talked about it Tuesday some. We're here on Wednesday, man. What you feeling like tonight? We're 2 nights away from you having a crack at this thing.
I mean, each night as it gets closer, I mean, my nerves are going. I mean, everybody's saying, oh, they're going to stop the game, this and that. But honestly, I mean, it's taken away kind of my film hours and stuff like that because all the media attention and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying not to think about it and trying not to overstress about it because, I mean, when you go into the game overstressing about something, you start to make mistakes and stuff like that. So, I mean, I just go in there and try to think about this is like another game to me. So, I mean, I'm blessed for the opportunity and it's blessed to be recognized with some of the greats of all time, like in PA's all times, like leading passing leaders. So, I mean, this is a blessing all around.
So, Alex, I just turned 40, and I don't know where the time went. And you're a senior. How old are you now?
18.
18. So Alex made me feel old because there were a couple guys, legends. I bounced their name off of him. He's like, well, I never really seen them play, but I kind of heard of them. And I'm like, oh man, I'm getting old. But I mean, guys in Pennsylvania that have played quarterback, Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Joe Montana, all the Super Bowl wins. I think John Unitas is from Pennsylvania. Um, just Joe Namath. Just an incredible list of quarterbacks. What does it mean to you, and Lord willing, and no disrespect to Camp Hill, Friday night, you should have an opportunity to put your name at the top of that list with all those great quarterbacks come through here, and your name's going to be at the top of that list. What does that mean to you, man?
I mean, again, I mean, it's just an honor just being a part of those guys. I mean, you've seen those guys on TV. I mean, every time that you see in NFL Network, I mean, you always hearing those guys get brung up. I mean, it's honestly been a dream for me. I mean, it's growing up being a Stilton kid. I mean, seeing some of the greats going in and out of here. But I mean, for my understanding, it's no like record that has been like set all the time and number one. So, I mean, just being a part of that list and putting Stilton like pretty much on the map because I mean, I go somewhere else in the state. I might go to New Jersey or somewhere else and be like, oh, where's Stilton High School at? So, I mean, just like Michael Parsons says, I mean, he wants to put Harrisburg on the map. So. I just hope I can put my input on some of those things and try to put Stilton on the map as well.
Well, I think you've done that, man. You guys have won 2 state titles now in your time there. You're going for a third. You guys are 6-0. You're going to be the big favorites against Camp Hill. Hey, that's a good, if you guys just if you're a casual fan, you want to see a guy maybe break a state record, 7:00, Siebert Park, Steelhouse going over to play Camp Hill Friday. But on the other sideline, Drew Brandstatter is a pretty good quarterback too. Have you watched any of his film? What do you think about them in that matchup?
I first played against him 2 years ago. I mean, he just came in the game. I mean, he was a very young kid. I mean, he balled out. I mean, I already told him. I mean, I tried. I mean, I'm gonna text him here and there after this game because I really don't like having friendly relationships going to the game. But I mean, I got all my respect to him. I mean, him and those guys. I mean, Kobe Moore. I mean, he's a really good player also. I mean, that's just a really good football team. And again, like I said in the film room today, I mean, these guys, I mean, I told our secondary, I mean, these guys passed for 300 yards against us. So, I mean, this shouldn't be no cakewalk or anything like that. And we're going to a high style environment. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty tough matchup. And I'm just blessed to be, I mean, it's just blessed to be a part of, I mean, Drew's a really good quarterback. So, I mean, I mean, I see Division 1 offers coming his way. So I mean, it's a future Division 1 prospect coming his way. I mean, I'm just blessed to be recognized to be on the field with him at the same time.
As journalists, we have you guys pegged as a big favorite in this game.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan and you want to go see some good quarterbacks play, Alex can sling it around, Drew can sling it around. It's a fun game to go watch. I think Friday, and just see what happens. And even if Steelhigh does get ahead, that just means Camp Hill's got to throw it around a little bit more. So it should be fun. But so something I know you've been through some big games and big situations at Steel High, but this week something that I don't think Steel High's done ever before. They put out a press release around this, my man. So if you have you been hearing from different people? And I know you've gotten some attention from around the state. Like, what all have you saw and what has that experience been like for you?
I mean, the press release was ridiculous. It was crazy. I mean, Miss Leanne told me that she was releasing a press release for, I mean, this week's, and a couple of things changed. I mean, we were doing press conference at our field. Now they're announcing it that we can do it at Camp Hill's field. So I mean, it's been a pretty busy week. But I mean, one of the craziest things is, I mean, I trained with Chad Henne, but I mean, he sent me a text with like, man, go out there and beat that record. So I mean, it's just crazy to be hearing. I mean, he's a Pennsylvania legend as well. I mean, played at Michigan for 4 years, played in the NFL for some time, and I mean, just hearing for people like that. I mean, again, it's just blessed to be recognized with type of those guys like that, and I mean, it's pretty cool to hearing from a Super Bowl champ. I mean, telling you to go break that record and plays with one of the best quarterbacks of all time. So, I mean, it's just that's a blessing all around.
I saw that, and I thought that was pretty cool too on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it now. I saw him hit you up. Have you ever met Chad? Because I know there's a connection. I know you work with Coach Jim Contafio some, and I know he and Contafio are tight. Have you ever met Chad?
Yeah, I met him a couple of times. I worked with him a couple of times as well. Great trainer,
What's like?
honestly.
What was it like working with that guy?
Oh my goodness. I mean, this is different types of stuff that he does. I mean, we had a group session down Mayhem Central with a bunch of different quarterbacks. Hayden from Mayhem Township, quarterback from Mayhem Central. I mean, they all can sling it around. So I mean, just hearing from pointers from those guys and actually Chad Henne and Coach Patafia and all in one is just a blessing. So honestly, it was a pretty cool experience just learning from those guys. I mean, you learn from the best. So I mean, I think all those guys are really good at the position, and just learning from picking apart from each other's games is just gonna make us better at the end of the day.
You the ultimate goal. I know you and I talked a lot, and I know you. It's nice to get these records, but you're trying to get a third state championship too, man. And you guys are putting up some points and stuff. Like, how are you guys feeling right now? And you know, what's the feeling around this team as you guys get ready to move forward in the season?
I would say we're definitely not satisfied where we're at right now. I mean, you see some games we're having more than 100-yard penalties. I mean, that can obviously kill us down in the road. I mean, you saw it year or two ago against Canton when we played in the first round. Penalties and turnovers killed us. So I mean, we just got to eliminate stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I think we're not all the way there yet. But I mean, my dad always says we haven't played our best game of football yet. So I mean, that's a pretty scary sight. But as we go in the stretch ahead in the playoff stretch, I mean, we got a pretty tough road ahead of us. I mean, we got to play some good teams in this, Lord willing, in the state playoffs and play. I mean, a pretty hard top of the regular season with West Perry and Trinity. So, I mean, we just got to stay mentally prepared and stay locked in and just take one game at a time.
Couple state championships under your belt. You know, again, Lord willing, if everything goes right, couple state records under your belt, going for another state championship. The other big news for you is you recently, and I know it's been a difficult process with you with recruiting because I know you're really trying to weigh everything, and you and I've talked about this a lot, and I know you've had different thoughts, and like I know you're interested in engineering, and I know you're interested in business. You recently announced the top three of Maryland, Minnesota, and Navy. Um, Tell us about that a little bit, where you're at in that process and what you're thinking right now and how you feeling about the whole college thing.
I'm starting to fill out a little bit of the process. I mean, talking to each one of the staffs. I mean, every day they show a lot of love every single day. Even then, before releasing the top three, they've been calling me and I mean, actually, I got congrats from all of them today for potentially breaking the record on Friday, and then I mean, this is a blessing. I mean, it's being in a position with. I mean, it was kind of hard. It was kind of slow for me. I mean, I had a lot of schools to choose from, and I just wanted to make sure I take this process and didn't do it right. I didn't want to be a guy that committed so early and then decommit and then try to pick another school. I wanted to pick a school and just trying to find a home and try to not. hop in the transfer portal 4 years later or 2 years later or anything like that. Just wanted to just find my home for the next 4 years and do it correctly.
It's right. You and I had this discussion, man. It's such a big decision, especially for a guy like you, where I really feel like even though you're a really good football player, you've been weighing a lot of the academic side of it and just like opportunities outside of football that each school brings up, right? I mean, that's been big for you in this.
Yeah, I mean, it's been huge. I mean, my dad talks to me every single day, and me and my family, we sit down and talk. I mean, we got to think about the next 40 years. I mean, everybody thinks about the next 4 years and what are you going to do playing football? What? But I also think about like when football ends, what do you have to lean back on? I mean, obviously, football is going to end one day. So, I mean, just to have a good enough education part of the education world and to seeing where your options are. I mean, is that something you're going to enjoy for doing for the next 40 years, or you're just taking a major and it's going to your dream school and not playing any down to football, or you might get hurt. You have nothing to lean back on. So, I mean, my thought is really is to going into this thing and academics always come first. So, and then the football, I mean, obviously comes second. So, it's always been a dream of playing Division 1 football, and I got a chance to do that, but also get a Division 1 education as well. So.
These next couple weeks, man, are going to be special for you, right? I mean, you got any big plans around it, or just like what? How are you? How are you? I think I probably already asked you in some way this, but how are you like? It's a lot to handle for a young guy, and I would have I'll give you credit, and we're gonna have a story coming up on Penn Live in the morning. Like I said, we're filming this on Wednesday.
Okay.
In the morning, we'll have a big story on Alex, which you guys want to read. It really kind of goes into some of the inspiration behind his chase for the records. And a good story with his grandmother, I think, is going to be in there. But you seem to really have a level head. And you seem to really be a good young man. And um, how do you handle all this, man? Because I'd have a big head, man. You wouldn't be able to tell me nothing if I was in your situation right now. Gonna break a couple state records. Already got a couple rings. Getting ready to commit maybe to go play for a really good school. You wouldn't be able to tell me nothing.
I mean, I just try to keep myself as level headed as possible. I mean, I see the guys around me. I mean, the guys around me. I mean, I know they should have scholarships and they should too. So I mean, I just try to just be as level headed as possible because I know if I didn't have any scholarships or anything at the time, I wouldn't be somebody that just want to brag and throw it in somebody's face all the time. I just want to be an encouraging teammate and everything like that. But sometimes, I mean, my dad, my family, my girlfriend's family, they love with me sometimes. So I mean, they say, I mean, you still got to go to the next level. I mean, you still got this to do. You still got this to do. So, I mean, my mom's the queen of that. I mean, just challenging me to do another thing in life. I mean, as soon as I break the state record, she was like, "Oh, what's the all-time high school record?" Like, she's just great at that. But I know she's extremely proud of me. And some moments I do get a little big-headed, but I get humbled really quickly.
Well, I think mom might have something to do with that too. I talked to Sherelle Peterson, which is Alex's mom, last night. Alex, she told me that she knew early on you and your brother Andrew. If you guys don't know, his twin brother Andrew Erby Jr. is a really good player too. He's going to play college football somewhere good too. She said she knew you guys were going to be bigger than her, so she had to put the fear of God in you guys a little bit. She said, put fear in your heart, uh, kind of keep you guys in line. She said she's been the disciplinarian, so what mom keeps you in line a little bit. What's that like with mom?
Oh man, I mean, back in the, I think it was the eighth grade. I mean, I was getting a little high leveled. I mean, I was one of the best little league players growing up, and then I had a low slump, like I said, in like seventh and eighth grade. She told me she was like, "Man, everybody's people are outworking you and this and that and stuff like that." I mean, never in a day in my life I want another day without doing something to perfect my craft. And every day she tells me, she said, "I'm proud of you and all, but I mean, you gotta go out there and still work. Because I mean, when you get to the next level, I mean, everybody has the same talent. Nobody cares about the stars, and nobody cares about the accolades. So, start to work on your craft now, and then start like really working hard and stuff. Because we get to the next level, because you got to do that 10 times more." So she's always been the heart and soul of me, and just level with my head all the time.
Yeah, she sounded like she loves you to death, man, but she sounded like
Yeah.
she could be tough sometimes. So
Oh,
in a good way, in a good
yeah,
way. If anybody listens to that like, what? No, she wasn't like abusing them or anything. She's like, look, I knew these boys were gonna be bigger than me, and I knew I had to tell them, it was gonna be my way.
yeah,
Hey man, listen, we talked a lot about football and stuff like that, and you and I, one thing I always kind of ask you, it seems like anytime we come on this, when you have you had time to put all this in perspective? And I know you've done a little bit of that because you and I talked about it earlier, but for the people that weren't privy to that conversation, you're now here, you're winding down, man. You only got, maybe what, 5, 6, 7 more games left,
Yeah.
as long as the playoff run goes. Um, yeah, and you'll when you come to the end of your career, you'll have a chance to look back at everything. But now, as you get ready to go into this home stretch, when you look back at everything, what's all this been like? Your time as a roller, with a couple state championships already, and just having the opportunities you've had as a roller, man. What has all this been like? And have you put it in perspective in that way?
Um, I would say again, I mean, it's just a dream of reality, a dream like just becoming a reality to me. I mean, just being a part, just putting on a roller helmet in general. I mean, for me was just a dream. I mean, playing in Bulldogs. I mean, we really didn't have the roller helmets until junior high. So when I first got a roller helmet, I mean, I was super excited. But then when I once one year one, year two, in junior high, I'm like, oh, I'm ready to put on a varsity football helmet. And when you first put on that varsity football helmet, I mean, this is different. You got the, I mean, obviously when COVID was there, but we obviously had the band still there. So when you hear the band playing after you score a touchdown and stuff like that, I mean, that was just a dream come true to me. And then all the achievements and stuff, and just the brotherhood that continued to grow throughout the program. I mean, we had kids go to a different school and then come back to our school. I mean, we played since we're Bulldogs. So I mean, like I said, it's 24 class. I mean, just playing with those guys since being introduced to football. I mean, it's special. I mean, just being with those guys from 10 plus years, 11 plus years, being in school with them, hanging out with them, playing football with them. I mean, this is a dream to come to a reality. And obviously, just to stack on top of that, to actually have some pretty good achievements with them, this is a dream come true to me.
Yeah, you guys, a lot of you guys were freshmen. I mean,
Yeah.
Jayon Perry was out there, Amari Williams was out there. A lot of guys were on that class were freshmen who actually really played and were key contributors in the state championship and stuff. So we talked a lot about football, business and engineering real quick before we're done. Football's done, my man. How much have you thought about that? And like, what's the game plan when football's all over?
I was trying to, I really want to try out aerospace engineering. I mean, I've always been big on engineering and stuff like that. I'm a math and science guy, but English guy writing an essay, I can make a pretty good mistakes in that. So, I mean, that's just something that I would think about. I love doing. I mean, since at a young age, I mean, I was always in an engineering program or a STEM program or one of those two, like growing up. So, I mean, that's always been a dream for me. Just I have an opportunity to go go and get education in that for free. I mean, that's just a blessing. I mean, if you're a regular student, I mean, Lord knows how much that will cost over the next 4 years and coming out in debt and stuff. So, I mean, having an opportunity to play at the highest level of football and like just having education like that for free, I mean, it's always been a dream for me.
That's why I asked you that, because you're smarter than I am, my man. There's no way I could get into that stuff. See, I can write, but math and science not my thing, man. So you know, just not my
Yeah.
thing. Well, listen, big couple weeks coming up. Just wanted to get you on here and talk about it a little bit. Anything else you want to say, man? I know the excitement's there, the nerves are there. Uh, I tell you what, put us in your shoes when that moment comes, whether it's Friday or the week after or whenever, and you're number one on that list, man. The state, this might be the best quarterback state in forever, and you're number one on that list. When you make that pass, what do you think it's going to be like? Put us in your shoes for a minute.
I mean, I'm, it's gonna be a surreal moment for sure. I mean, go out there and just try to. I mean, not obviously the first snap. I mean, you're trying to think. I mean, you can't make a mistake. But I mean, that last pass and hearing my name on a loudspeaker. I mean, it's gonna be emotional for me. I mean, just knowing all the things I went through, the injuries and everything like that, and how much time that I put into this thing. I mean, first I'm gonna look at my lineman, hug my lineman, and go hug my dad. I mean, that's just gonna be a special moment between us and my family as well. So I mean, my family call me every day. We're calling me every day this week. I mean, saying like, man, this is a pretty big moment. I'm still trying to soak it all in, and I didn't realize how big a moment it was until the press release came out. So I'm like, all right, this is kind of a big deal. It's being number one, and then, I mean, every single day, I'm just thinking like, I mean, now is how many quarterbacks actually been through the state of Pennsylvania? I mean, it's quite a bit. So it's it's just gonna be a surreal moment, and not sure how my first reaction is going to be, but I'm definitely gonna try to find those guys up front that been blocking for me all 4 years. So I mean, thanks to those guys, really.
That's the way to do it, my man. Well, listen, everybody. Alex, tell people how to find you. I know you got an NIL deal with John's on Fire. NIL is a thing. Tell everybody how to find you on social media right now.
Twitter, Erby Alex, Instagram, Alex Erby underscore IX. They're two of my major platforms that I use. So, I mean, you can give me a follow, help me out in the long run. So,
Yeah. Check out his huddle film too. If you're not able to make it out to the game, check out his huddle film. And even though he has the top three, any coaches out there, make check in 6'3", 208 pounds. Told me he threw the ball 67 yards Tuesday in practice.
yep.
That's putting him out there pretty good. So Alex Erby, man, great to have you on. Check out our work at PennLive.com. We have a big story on Alex Erby coming up Thursday morning. Big story from our new guy Evan Wheaton on Angel Cabrera, the Hershey running back. And we'll also look at some top uncommitted um, high school football players around the area in the mid pen who are seniors by the end of the week too. So we'll have a big list there for people to check out. Alex, man, great to have you on.
Thanks for having me.